Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys, who have just defeated Arsenal Football Club in the FA Cup semifinals and are ergo exhausted. By the way, if you can hear that in the background, I think people are playing Aero Fighters, and there was tremendous drama, apparently. Anyway, yeah, so we are at home. The home crowd welcoming your FA Cup finalists. And when I say your, I mean it, because this is your club. You own it. Back to the Wimbly Wombly, South London. This is insane and amazing. We get to play a ginger today from the mouth of the Bourne, from Bournemouth. Our guys are so tired. By the way, I'm going to talk about making and having babies today. Our guys are so tired, as you can see, we're in fourth. That I basically had to make 11 changes. You're going to see a lot of Wimbly Womblys today you've never seen. A lot of people whose skill level is in the 50s. John Donne, a great English poet, is playing for us in central midfield. We've got these boots were made for Strutton and Jagier, Lightning Strike O up front. I mean, it's just basically a completely different team. We can lose this game, to be honest with you. We need the rest. We've got some very tired players, so it's we're starting the youth squad. Who is that tiny man? That's Jagier, Lightning Strike O. I had no idea that he was quite that small. That's a nice ball to him, though. Oh, great shot. So, you know, sometimes I make videos for the younger people where I give mediocre life advice to young people. I thought maybe, but I had a great suggestion, or a suggestion I really liked from someone, Wimbly Wombly fan, to make a video about how having and making children changes your life. Yeah, there's always the joke that, like, oh, you make a child is something that you make in 45 seconds and then have for the rest of your life. This is, of course, not true. Children are not made during the act of conception. It is a process, and a lengthy one. That, oh, wow! These guys are not bad. These boots were made for Strutton. He's got a chance. No, he stopped. I look back on the days. Oh, again, these boots were made for Strutton. Stopped short of success. That's not a bad shot, though. I like. It's a feisty start from the young new Wimbly Womblys. So I look back at the birth. Henry is now 4.5 years old, so I only have some memory of my life before parenthood. But I look back at it and do wonder a bit what I did with all of my time, and wonder that I didn't do more with the time that was then available to me. You know, that I didn't. Who is that? Is he Ginger? These boots were made for Strutton isn't a Ginger unless he's changed his hair. But anyway, it looks great. Maybe it's just because he has that red arrow over his head. Yeah, so I don't know what I did with all my time. I mean, I guess I read more. That's one thing that's suffered in the years since I had kids. But a lot of things, I kind of thought that, you know, like I was one of those people who sort of thought that a kind of life ends when you have a child, that you're sort of freewheeling, go out when you want, life ends, and you have to replace it with a different life. And that's true in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously I can't, you know, it takes a measure of planning to even leave for an evening. Versus, you know, before. But there's also a lot of stuff that goes with that. I mean, aside from the just joys of parenting, which are real. I mean, parenting is extremely challenging. Hardest thing I've ever done by a wide margin. Most tiring, most difficult, etc. These Wimbly Womblys can play. It is also tremendously rewarding and fun, and like it's great to watch someone grow up every single day, you know, to be there every single day for every single milestone, and like really be so deeply involved in the life of another human being that you're a little less self-focused. Although I worry that sometimes a nuclear family can become a kind of extended self that still you're not adequately focused outward. But I mean, aside from that joy, like kids are great at teaching you to pay attention and like showing you the interesting things that you're not paying attention to, which is always something of interest to me. Like, what am I missing? And Henry and Alice both are always showing me stuff that I'm missing and paying attention to stuff that I wouldn't notice and asking me questions that, you know, like surprise me and all that. And that is really, really rewarding in and of itself, even if it weren't, you know, even if I weren't like parenting them, you know, and that comes with all of, you know, even if they weren't my kids, I guess. Like even if they were just like random creatures who I just happened to cross on a day, they can be quite interesting. It's all, I would say that it's also like limited our social life, which it has in a lot of ways. But more than limiting it, it's deepened it by narrowing it, if that makes sense. You know, I spend time with fewer people. I am, you know, less likely to go out at night and much more likely either to see our best friends Chris and Marina or else to just hang out with the four of us. But that's okay because there's a depth to that narrowness that I find really rewarding. That's good. That's good. Go wide. Nope, not quite that. But you know what, guys? What I like about these new young Womblys is that they're playing with some courage. They're not good, right? Like, I don't think there's a single player on the field except for Amankwa with a skill level above 60. So they aren't good. Most of these are youth prospects. Although Falkskagard is he's the real deal. He's like a 63 skill level. But a lot of these are just youth prospects, and you know, obviously, like there's something lacking in their crosses and all that. But that was not really where I wanted you to pass to. But that's my fault, I'm sure, for not pressing the button in the right direction. But like, you know, they're keeping on the ball and they're playing interestingly. They're making interesting choices like that. Oh, he was offsides, but that was an interesting choice. You know, like I like that stuff. Barely offside by a smidgen of a smidge. I don't know. These boots were made for Strutton. Not a great finisher, it must be said. He's an interesting. Oh God! He had an opportunity there. That really, we should be celebrating a goal by singing a country music song right now, and instead we are not, and that is very frustrating to me. Do we have a song yet, Meredith, for Jagiel, Lightning Strike, oh? I really think he's the future of the Wimbly Womblys, mostly because of his name, but also because he's reasonably talented. Well, a rough first half, 0-0. We'll take a point away from home. God, your haircut is a disgrace, Falkskagard. You're just a blonde. You know what they sing about him? You're just a blonde Callum Kennedy. You're just a blonde Callum Kennedy. You're just a blonde Callum Kennedy. Cut your hair. I don't know. Working on it. You don't think people sing that? You don't believe me? No, they do in real Wimbly-Wombly matches. In the real AFC Wimbledon, that's what they sing about this guy who isn't on that team. We've got the golden child we could bring in. He's reasonably well rested. John Green only played one half of football. But you know what? I like these guys. I think we should let them play. Maybe Mose Vestergaard in the second half up front or something crazy like that. But let's just play and have a good time. The other thing that having children has done is it's given me a schedule. Like, kids thrive on routine, and I was someone who never had, you know, like I'm self-employed. Oh, that was close. I'm self-employed. I've never really had much of a routine. I didn't really have a good routine in college. I didn't have a good routine. You know, I've never really been someone who had a strong, like, daily, I know what I do every day. I do this first and this second and that kind of thing. And I'm still not that good at it. But I think routine is, well, I know routine is really good for people who have anxiety disorders. Like, there's a lot of research about that. Oh, it's Sermon who's our ginger. He's a nice-looking ginger fellow, isn't he? Isn't he? That's not half bad. That's attractive football. That was good. And he got a foul out of it. Really good Sermon. And you got a yellow card for that. Look at, that's a beautiful ginger head of hair, Meredith. My God, he doesn't have the Callum Kennedy haircut. It's almost orange, it's so ginger. Is he available to pass to? He is. I'd like to go back. No! Clearly not. I turned all the way to the ginger. Damn it. Yeah, so kids have given me a routine, which has actually been, I think, good for my my overall mental health. You know, like I get up at approximately the same time every day because Henry has to go to school. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are the same every day, and that can be quite helpful for me. So that's something I would say that's better as well. But it's also, on the other hand, like, you know, there's no flexibility, so it's hard to get up early every day. You have to get up early even when you're sick, even when you're tired, and that can be exhausting. I have great renewed admiration for parents, even ones who aren't necessarily that good, the old like thing that everyone says and that every therapist says to every client that you know whoever, whether it's your parents or whomever, therapists always say, well, they did the best that they could. They were doing the best that they could. And that never really resonated with me that deeply. But I now realize that, like, they really were doing the best that they could, whoever it is. And, like, it is an incredibly difficult thing to be. Well, there's lots of joys of adulthood, and I don't want to minimize them. I prefer being adult in every way to being a kid. But, like, there's lots of challenges in it, too. And they are real. So, you know, I have new admiration for parents. It is not an easy thing to do. Certainly no one knows when you're doing it well and when you're doing it poorly, and anyone who claims that they do, I'm pretty suspicious of, because I think, you know, all we can really do is, like, love our kids and try to do well by them, and I think that's what the vast majority of parents do. Now, obviously, there's lots of parents who are wanting in the, you know, in various departments, including me. Look at Sermon getting himself another free kick, Meredith. I like him. This time, can I pass to him, please? Still no. I still can't. I'm still not allowed to pass to him. But you know what? I'm going to find a way. That's not a bad ball. Who was offside? Oh, yeah, he was offside. The computer's pretty good at knowing what offside is because, you know, it's a computer program. Pretty reliable. 77th minute, still no goals. Maybe playing with the ginger a little too much. Context is everything. But having myself a good time. So anyway, I think that oh God. Yeah! Yar! I'm so much better at defense now. I have this defensive strategy of understanding angles. Actually, it was my wife taught it to me. She was watching me play FIFA and she was like, you know, angles work better. What? What happened? Oh, was there a free kick? They're really kicking the crap out of that little ginger, aren't they? It's the third time. We've had 3 free kicks in the last 5 games, and all of them have been against that tiny ginger. He's only 15 years old. Show some courtesy toward this young man. That's not a good cross, Sermon. I probably shouldn't have moved exclusively to the left-hand side of the pitch entirely because I like this ginger kid. Look at the suffering of Jagier. Lightning strike. Oh, he's just exhausted. All right, we're going to make some substitutions here so we don't get anybody injured. Kaz, you're on. Golden Child, you're now a striker. Mose Vestergaard, you're now our other striker. I love it. Falksgaard, you must suffer. Wouldn't that be a pretty good name for either a band or an album or a novel? You Must Suffer. Isn't that the core truth of football and also life? That there will always be suffering and that all we can do in the face of it is to be kind to each other and to say in the gentlest way possible, you must suffer. There is no other option. It is the only thing. It is the only way. It's true. It's not easy to say, but it is true. Golden Child. Reasonably good cross. Not good enough, actually, and it was offsides. Golden Child, in that situation as the striker, you know what you need to do? Cut it back. Oh, barely offside. I don't actually disagree with the computer program on that one. But what can you do? You must suffer. That's my new catchphrase, Meredith. What do you think? It's a little dark. As opposed to the previous one, life is full of hardship and disappointment. It's not, I don't have a lot of, it's essentially the same one, but it's just shortened. You know, it's just shortened to you must suffer. It is the rule. I had a gastroenterologist who was from Poland once, and she said to me, it is the monkey, but do it you must. In reference to a medication regimen. I still don't quite know what she meant, but I think there's something. Look at that little ginger. The kid's got a future. He can pass. Can he score, though? Can he finish? Oh, Ginger. Oh, he came up limp at the worst possible moment. I have no substitutions left. You must suffer, Ginger. You must suffer. Oh, Ginger, get back on the ball. Suffer for your club. That was a good tackle. That was a strong tackle. Well, it's going to be 0-0 against Bournemouth. They were born in the mouth. Suffer! Oh, I think that was going to be the one, Meredith. But instead, it's a 0-0 draw. The best we could expect. And you know, as the saying goes, I coined it 5 minutes ago. It's as true now as it was then. You must suffer. Thank you for watching. All the parents out there, keep going. Love your babies. All the kids out there, your parents are trying. Best wishes.